Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for another Legacy video. Just as a heads up, today's video is going to be the first video recorded on my new PC. It's also going to be the first video recorded using some new software. If you're interested in why and what I'm doing, there's a member exclusive video that talks about that. But just as a heads up, there might be some hiccups today. You know, I had 5 years worth of stuff set up on the other computer, and now I'm working on porting everything over. So there may be small audio or visual bumps. Let me know if something seems different than usual in a bad way. Okay, today we are going to be playing with Jonathan S's Hollowvined Jund list. And this version is different from every other version that I have played on the channel here in that it is running Kitchen Imp. So Kitchen Imp is technically a 4-mana card that's a 2/2 flying haste, but it has madness for 1 black. So why might we want to play this card? Well, number one, haste creatures are very nice in your aggro deck, and that's really what this deck is. We love when Vengevine hits the table, or when we get to like anger out a couple of hollow ones. Those draws are impressive. So this Jund version leans a little bit more into that haste damage. And if you have Kitchen Imps, it is just another madness creature that you can cast off things like Putrid Hemp, Burning Inquiry, Faithless Looting to help trigger your Vengevines. So I'm guessing this variant might feel a little bit more aggressive than even some of the other versions that I've played. Most of the stuff here is pretty stock and straightforward after that. Although I don't think I've played Flaring Pain on the channel yet. So just briefly talking about that. This is 2 mana, damage can't be prevented this turn, and it has flashback for 1 red. And this is a way for you to deal with some things that might soft lock you out of the game. You know, your glacial chasms, your solitary confinements, things of that general nature. I'd have to double check the wording, but I think it deals with Maze of Ith as well. So it can also deal with some fringe creatures with some protection abilities, such as a True Name Nemesis. On the off chance that you haven't seen the Lizards deck before, the general game plan is to use these various discard outlets to put Basking Root Wallas, Anji's Ravagers, Blazing Root Wallas, and I suppose Kitchen Imp now, into play for free or a discounted rate, hopefully triggering some Vengevines along the way, and sort of the plan B is using these discard spells, you should be able to get a cheap 4/4. And the starts are explosive and extremely aggressive. I think that's really all I want to say about this deck. We've played this a handful of times on the channel. It's a fan favorite. Everyone loves it, and it's my favorite deck in Legacy right now. I love putting in the work on this. And in another week or two, I'll come back. I've got a Bomat Courier version of this deck that I'm going to try out as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content 5 days a week. If you're a regular, throw me a like. It's the easiest way to support my content. And if you want to try out this deck or get your own deck on the channel, that information is available in the video description. Let's battle, and here's to hoping no PC problems, no editing problems, and everything goes swimmingly. Okay, these cards are like comically small. Do some readjustment. I'll have to compare to my other videos, but I assume something approximately like this is okay. So this hand does not really have a payoff currently, but it has 2 Faithless Lootings. I think I'm going to keep this, but this is a hand that, like, the mulligan stuff could go wrong. Oh, and I have, like, no stops set on my opponent's turn. Okay, hold up. So I definitely need untap, main, combat, attack, blocks. I don't think I did damage on my opponent's turn most of the time. Second main phase end. Okay, I think that's fine. Lead on Taiga and cast Faithless Looting and kind of get a feel for where I want this hand to go. Also looks like my chat is off by default here. And this needs to be dragged over to approximately here. Alright, I don't think I want Mountain or Burning Inquiry. I think I still want to try to live the dream of... Well, maybe I don't want to live the dream. Maybe I just put 2 Lizards into play, and then next turn I cast like Burning Inquiry and kind of see where we go. Maybe Hollow one. Sure. There's a lot of ways to play that turn. But I think it's okay to just get on board. Like, Burning Inquiry, a huge portion of the time will set up for something cool. The real question will be like, how do I sequence that? Like, do I want to play the Putrid Imp out and always have access to the Putrid Imp? Okay, so this is just going to be a prismatic ending on a lizard. That's fine. All right, another land. All the ones will already be free off Burning Inquiry. So the reason to not cast... I'm going to play my land out 100% of the time, and then this turn's really hard. You want Faithless Looting first and just get deeper. Have a better chance of hitting a Vengevine. Oh, Force of Will pitching a Ponder. Now I think I'll Burning Inquiry. Maybe get a hollow one into play. My hand's not particularly great right now, so just about anything I can do is upside here. Oh, a second Force of Will, pitching a Brainstorm. Sure. I mean, I've still got a Faithless Looting or two in the graveyard. Like I can grind. I am unsure of my relative strength compared to my opponent's strength currently. That's a great card to Faithless Looting away. I'm not sure that I want to Faithless Looting this turn rather than just like play a Putrid Imp and attack. Let's get that damage in. Not sure which land I want, so I'm just going to fetch now and kind of think about it. I'm unlikely to need double green or double black. The only thing I could need double green for is Vengevine. I guess I'll pick that up. And let's pump. So, just talking about options, I could have gotten one more damage in this turn by Putrid Imp discarding Anger and just being able to attack with the Putrid Imp immediately, but I don't think that's correct because I think I want Anger as a card that I can pitch to Faithless Looting. Burning Inquiry. Absolutely happy with that as a draw. Mana in play is fine for this. Where's the Plowshare is the Root Walla in response. Sure. I'm good with that. I'll save my mana in case I discard an Anji's Ravager. Oh my gosh. Bill, how do you do it? Pass with Madness. Now... Oh, I discarded a hollow one in that. That's a little sad. So I'll play my land. I will discard the Anger. Now the Anji's Ravager can attack. And I will draw 3. Nice. Okay. That hits my opponent for 5 down to 8. I can Madness the Basking Root Walla at the end of my opponent's turn. I don't need to do that now. But things are looking good, minus like a Supreme Verdict happening right here. I might be able to just raw power through this Uro that was discarded. Yeah, there it is. I will take this opportunity to put this into play, I think. Cast that. Now, I'm not really good at removing this Uro, so I do need to just kill through it. Luckily, though, I'm not very far away from just doing that. Guess I'll pick up the second black here. Gamble. Gamble can get me a Vengevine. That's pretty good the vast majority of the time. I'm very likely to cast 2 creatures this turn one way or another. It doesn't matter whether or not that hits the bin. I'd also take the Ox, but I think I'm good on card draw. So let's gamble. There are also Kitchen Imps. Do those fly? And I could have 4 flying damage. That is unavoidable. I grab a Kitchen Imp and discard it, cast it. Discard an Anji's Ravager. Cast that. Yeah, maybe I just grab a Kitchen Imp and don't take the variance of Vengevine into account. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, I discarded the land. Let's make you fly. Get my Kitchen Imp. And let's discard this Anji's Ravager. I'll go ahead and Madness that on in. And then let's send in the troops. Get 2 sets of Anji's Ravager triggers, which is pretty likely to give me another lizard or so. I have no mana for any of that. LED is cool, though. I will not cast that. Okay, so this puts my opponent to 1. Good stuff. Now let's play Lion's Eye Diamond. Do I want to use the LED now? I can use the LED now to like Faithless Looting or Gamble or something. I think it's just better next turn. And maybe I shouldn't have even have played it out. No, it allows me to put another Kitchen Imp in at instant speed if that's something that I need to do. Oh, the Uro is coming in. A bit unexpected. Okay, I'll take the damage. Ponder away. No shuffle. Okay, so that means they're theoretically alive. Alright, Bloodstained Mire is not particularly strong here. One way or another, I am gambling here. Let's grab an Ox, I suppose. Alright, that's a Kitchen Imp. I do have the mana to cast that. So I will. Let's go land. Fetch. Grab Taiga. Junk this for red, red, red. Cast the Ox. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. Okay. Sure, you can dress down. I see. Oh, that's about what it had to be. I lose out on the trigger here, and I also lose out on the haste, huh? Sure. I think this is an okay time to cast one of the two lootings. And just see if I can hit a Kitchen Imp or a Root Walla or something. Alright, I'm a mana short of being able to do that. Yeah, I wasn't expecting Dress Down into Terminus specifically, which is why I was willing to cast the Ox, because if my opponent had the Terminus, I was still going to go and get like 3 cards out of the deal. Alright. So my opponent has to come up with a blocker for this turn cycle, and there is also a Vengevine in the not too distant future. That would be quite an annoyance. Unsummon my Ox. I dare you. They did not unsummon my Ox. Note, we will just attack them. They are at 3. Okay, great. That one ended up being comically small cards. That one ended up being a little bit also comically small cards. Magic Online, why are those your default settings? Like, alright. Okay. So, what do I want to sideboard versus this deck? I probably don't really need to sideboard much. Like, I can consider Firestorm just as another way to empty my hand early. I can consider Bone Shards to get some things like an Endurance out of the way. But generally speaking, I'm just planning on being faster than the opposing deck, and like they win the game if it goes long. So I probably don't want much. Could bring in a Bone Shards or a Firestorm or something as a way to just have some ability to react. Bone Shards can also kill Planeswalkers, which is nice. Yeah, why don't we play a couple of these? You don't necessarily need 3 gambles here. Like, gamble is a way to do some of the like most broken things you can more quickly and more consistently, but like when you start facing down counterspells and such, and graveyard hate like Endurance, gamble becomes a little less appealing. So I think I'm fine making that swap here. Okay. This is a very good opening hand. Things can get weird, but it's a very good opening hand. It's actually going to be a little difficult to play from my side. And that was a shuffle with that Ponder. Okay. So the big question here is, do I cast the LED prior to the Burning Inquiry? I think the answer is yes. It makes it more likely that I am going to discard the hollow one, though, which is not the best. This will bait a Force of Will, though. Alright, that's a Dress Down. I think in this version of the deck, there's value in getting the bad lands first because of Kitchen Imp, rather than the Taiga that I usually get in other versions of the build. Now we're going to Burning Inquiry and just try to make a turn 1 hollow one and hope that works out. Oh my god, I discarded 2 hollow ones. Alright. Cast a second Lion's Eye Diamond. Crack it for red. Cast Anji's Ravager, which will have haste. And we'll send it on in. I will get Ancestral. Oh my god, 2 more Lion's Eye Diamonds? That's sick. I have a Faithless Looting in the graveyard. We going? I've cast 1 creature already this turn. So if I were to draw a Vengevine with the Faithless Looting, I could just return it? Yeah, that's fine. Oh wait, that's not true, is it? Because I'm going to discard the Basking Root Walla to hand. Yeah, that's okay. I think I need to just get on board as strongly as I can here. And I am fine with using this as a way to increase what my board looks like. Because now one removal spell on Anji's Ravager is just good instead of game ending. Like now I have 2 more creatures in play, plus like I am threatening a Vengevine. Alright. Do you have the Swords to Plowshares for the Anji's Ravager? Because this gets bad real quickly if you don't. I mean, that's the right land to kill it. Alright, they do. We are still continuing a game here. Alright, that is a Basking Root Walla. I probably want to use that with some other card and play 2 spells in 1 turn. Bring back the Vengevine, rather than just play this out as a haste creature. But I crack this for green. Could push a lot of damage this turn. I don't hate that either. And just treat the Vengevine as like plan B for if this aggro doesn't kill. Right now, I get to attack for 4 damage. I can only pump once. Yeah, it might just be correct to make some green mana here and just try to hit my opponent hard and fast. I'm going to do that. I am the beatdown. Cast, bump, bump, and send them. Yeah, there's half my opponent's life total. And Uro's kind of a pain in the ass here. But I can build towards a Vengevine kill. Sure. Burning Inquiry. I think I do that pre-combat. Because I can spike multiple madness creatures. Nope, but there's a second Vengevine in the graveyard now. Ah, shit, I put an Uro into my opponent's graveyard. That's a nuisance. I hope they don't have land as naturally as their final card. Never fails. That's okay. I think I will win through the Uro as soon as I can return these Vengevines. Like, this is most certainly a nuisance, but I don't think this is game losing. Alright, my opponent does pick up another land. Alright, this is not the land that I want to draw. I'm not even sure that I should play this, because, well, no, I will play this. But unfortunately, I think I have to pass the turn here. If the Gambles weren't boarded out of the deck, I think I would hold that land. But the Gambles are boarded out. Alright, here comes Uro. I want to get some more life to work with. I don't have too many turns here. Alright, there's the first critter I need. Let's attempt an attack in for 2. I'm not playing around Endurance because I'm already losing to that card. Yeah. So when that nukes my graveyard and takes both these Vengevines and the Angers, I think I'm just too far behind to win. And I am indeed going to concede here. The scales have tipped in my opponent's favor. I am not going to make any adjustments for play draw here. I am still going to keep the Bone Shards as a way to interact with my opponent. That was a time where we were real close to doing what we were wanting to do, but we didn't quite get over the finish line, and that's kind of the game plan in this matchup, right? Is like, go fast, hope your opponent doesn't have too many pieces of interaction, because like as the game goes on, it becomes trickier and trickier for you to win. Yes, I would like to play first. Okay, so this is a hand that has all the right tools, but I do not have a single payoff option here. Like, I can make 3 creatures on turn 1, but I don't know that that's actually good enough. I would keep this quality of hand on 6, but on 7, I think I want a mulligan. Okay. This is an awkward hand. If my LED gets forced, hand is awful, and if my LED doesn't get forced, this hand is amazing. I believe YOLO is the technical term for what we are doing here. Alright. Land, LED. Alright. Coast is clear. Attack for red. Get a Blazing Root Walla and an Anji's Ravager. I will use my 1 floating mana to pump this lizard. I will swing in for 6 on turn 1 and cast Ancestral Visions. This is free now, right? Nice. And let's put a Blazing Root Walla into play too. Okay, not bad. Yeah, we have an acceptable amount of power in play on turn 1. And this is why I like this deck. That doesn't cast Swords to Plowshares. That also doesn't cast Terminus on your next turn. That's real bad. But you probably don't need me to tell you that. Okay. Send them. So we're going to discard these cards. Not going to madness that. Going to pump this lizard. And that's a pretty respectable amount of damage. Now let's go land and cast a hollow one for 1 mana. I believe my opponent's only out here is now play white land, pass turn, brainstorm into Terminus. I believe my opponent no longer has any outs. Yep. GG's. What an absurd hand. Alright. I compared what I'm doing now to what I was doing before, and I think I was closer to something like this. Okay. Looking at the opening hand here, I can potentially do a couple of different powerful things depending on kind of like what my draw steps look like and how phase loading goes. Oh wait, was I on the play? No, this is my opponent's turn. Okay, they're just one of the weirdos who likes to make their land drops in the second main phase. Okay, sure. Okay. I think I'm just going to attack with a Kitchen Imp on turn 1. And then do a turn 2 Faithless Looting and use that to get a Hollow 1 and a Blazing Root Walla. I don't think there's enough upside to casting Faithless Looting on turn 1 where I actually want to do that. Oh, right. This is madness. You're not just a 1-drop flying 2/2 haste. I guess we're casting a Lizard then. No. Yeah, I just fucked up this turn. I'm not gonna play anything. I might get punished by Wasteland for fetching. I think this is one of those times where you just like accept the mistake you made and don't lean further into the mistake. Yep, there we go. Another Blazing Root Walla. Alright, I'm just gonna play a fetch line and pass the turn like I should have done the first time. Oh, okay, so we're playing against a like green-white Reclaimer Depths or something adjacent to that. Alright. Fetch, this will be a Badlands. I already have 2 things that I'm discarding in all likelihood. Go ahead and make this land drop. Cast Faithless Looting. Things get weird if I draw Vengevines. I do not. I'll discard double Root Walla. Cast. I think the hollow one just attacking is the best bang for my buck. I have my opponent on a 2-turn clock with the resources that I currently have in play. These are both effectively 3 damage things as long as I commit these lands to them. So, you know, that's 10 followed by another 10. I also do have multiple flying blockers available to me. Ooh. Interaction is good. Okay, that bog does nothing to me. That bog is actually actively helpful to me, oddly enough. Because this can't block as if I have Threshold. Alright. Do I need an Anji's Ravager? I think the answer is no. I have a fair amount of power in play already. Be my 3rd Badlands. Let's play a Putrid Imp. We'll discard a Kitchen Imp. And cast it, because that's the same amount of damage as just pumping Blazing Root Walla. Alright, now I'll crash in with these. Send them. And Fire Breathe with one of these. They should be pretty close to lethal next turn. Okay. So, with Putrid Imp, I can discard a Kitchen Imp with Madness. We still have a blocker held back. And then get in a bunch of damage this turn. I am also at 21 life, which is pretty dope. Okay. I think my opponent will not make this main phase. Or in combat. Oh, they will. Okay. Here they might wait, but they might not be able to wait. You're going to block my Putrid Imp, probably. Oh, you're going to block my Kitchen Imp. Like I deal 7 here? Then still have a Kitchen Imp left around afterwards? I think I'm good with that. Alright. Fire Breathe with both. Put my opponent to 6. And pass the turn. I wonder if they realize I'm at 21. Alright. I will take 20 damage. Now what? Nothing. Alright. Junk this. Cast this. Alright, if you have a Swords to Plowshares, you junk one of these, and I still do 3, 6, 7 damage. Or you junk one of these, and I still do 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 1 mana to spare here. I will go ahead and cast a Faithless Looting accordingly. I would not like to cast any of these cards. No. No. Send them. Oh, I suppose they could stay alive by Swords of Plowsharing their own Merit Lodge. Okay. Can you answer another one? Okay. Sure. Oh, you can answer another one. Unexpected. That's a triple Swords to Plowshares draw. I might die. Not sure if I have any outs. I guess I'll Burning Inquiry and see what happens. Alright, so I get a Lizard. Will not cast that. Play an LED. And I might be 1 mana short of having outs. Crack for red. Cast Faithless Looting. Discard both of those, and then I die to Merit Lodge. Alright. GG's. I don't think I'm supposed to leave back like one of the flyers this turn, because I want to be representing lethal through a removal spell. Okay. I probably won't board too much here. I'll probably play Firestorms as ways of interacting with early creatures like Elvish Reclaimer. That'll probably be it. I'll probably junk the gamble for those. Yeah, I think that's the plan. I can also consider like Flaring Pain as a way to deal with some of the potential tutor targets. But Flaring Pain gets worse if I take the gambles out. I might consider Flaring Pain on the draw. Does this hand actually do anything? Can Firestorm for X equals 2. And this hand is so close to doing everything, but it doesn't quite work. So like on turn 2, I could pay 1 mana, Firestorm for X is 2, discard Vengevine and Kitchen Imp, Madness in Kitchen Imp, and then be 1 mana short of having Hollow 1 plus Kitchen Imp plus Vengevine. Any lizard greatly improves this hand. Faithless Looting, a Burning Inquiry greatly improves this hand. I don't know. Maybe this isn't consistent enough to keep on 7. This makes 2 lizards on turn 1 with 2 redraws and has a decent number of cards that are likely to get stuck in my hand. This is, I would say, an acceptable 6, but 5 could still be better than this. I think I'm going to go to 5. Like, this is worse than a hand that... oh, maybe I should just keep this. Like, this is a hand that can be improved by a good number of cards, especially a Lion's Eye Diamond. And if nothing else, I still have 4 power in play. Yeah. Those are not the cards that I was hoping to hit. The land is not the worst, but it's kind of the wrong land. I don't know that I'm going to win this one. Alright. So I think this is a go wide situation. I'm going to play the Badlands and then cast Faithless Looting. Oh, okay, that's not bad. I'll discard Root Walla, Kitchen Imp, pass that, pass this, then I'll crash in for 4. And them. Kitchen Imp changes the math of how this deck works pretty significantly. Because normally, most of the time when you discard, you're not actually paying mana to discard stuff. That's only for Hollow One, and that's just like not the case anymore once you start looking at a build like this. Alright. So now if my opponent just like naturally has Dark Depths, I'm in trouble. I think I want to play Anji's Ravager this turn. So the next turn I can put double Kitchen Imp into play when Anji's Ravager attacks, and then have blockers back for a Merit Lodge. I also am at 22. Yeah, I do not think this is a push damage turn. I think this is a setup to be able to not die turn. Like, remember, conceptually I am the aggro deck, but I have the ability to not always play the aggro role. Alright. That's not a Dark Depths, but Crop Rotation could still be one of the cards that my opponent has in hand. So let's fetch another Badlands here, I believe. All right. Now let's go to attacks. Oh, that is inconvenient. Now I have to decide whether I want to play around their final card being a Crop Rotation and they have the exact perfects, or whether or not I want to push damage this turn. Oh my god, they just have the exact perfects. Now they get Dark Depths. I'm going to lose a Lizard. I won't die, but my mana is going to be tied up playing Kitchen Imps for 4 mana. I don't think there's a world where I go for a pump here. I think that's just 2 mana inefficient. Note, I know there is a Faithless Looting in my graveyard. I am waiting until next turn. So that I can Faithless Looting, discard the Kitchen Imp, and then potentially get more value out of the things that I have going on there. I'm just going to take the guaranteed block right now. Okay. Well, I suppose I can just use this for mana. Okay, there's a Vengevine, which is cool. Oh my god, I'm fucking stupid. Alright, I guess we're saving that, taking 20 and then trying to trigger the Vengevine and put the Vengevine into play. Which honestly might be the correct line. I do really need... Like, if I just play out this Kitchen Imp, it buys another turn, but it doesn't actually get me anywhere, right? Yeah, I think I like this line. LED. I'm not sure if I'm actually supposed to play that out. Because, like, I would really like this to be a second creature, and I won't always get a madness thing. Yeah, I'm not going to play that out yet. So let's go 1, 2... Oh, man, there's some scenarios where I really need this in play. Like if I draw Andu's Ravager as a madness card. I am going to cast this. Okay. Now I have to think about whether or not I can actually just kill my opponent this turn. I have 6 showing damage. Vengevine would be 10. The Kitchen Imp would be 12. Alright, I think I'm going to do this like this. I'm just going to use this for the red mana. I'm going to just cast the Kitchen Imp for the black. Cast Faithless Looting. And try to hit a madness creature. I have not succeeded. I discard both of these. And I don't trigger the Vengevine, unfortunately. Alright. I'll get my hits in. I'll have a blocker for the Merit Lodge. Okay, that's a reason to not pump pre-combat, I guess. That was lazy on my end. Didn't need to lose that creature. Alright, well, we weren't beating that top deck. Notably, the Merit Lodge matchups are rather tricky. The general game plan I have against them is kill them before they get 2/4 mana, and most of the time when they make the Merit Lodge, if you can't get over the finish line the next turn, you do end up losing. I don't think it's correct to play a bunch of things like Run Afoul in the sideboard to try to make this matchup better. I think you should just kill them and not expend sideboard slots worrying about it when you get paired against it and it doesn't go well. Okay. My hand currently does nothing exciting. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and mulligan this. This is a keep, but it's slightly awkward. Some things can go wrong here. Alright. Now, this may be a situation where we don't cast Faithless Looting on turn 1. Definitely do not want to cast Faithless Looting on turn 1. So the goal is to draw or otherwise acquire a land. And then put a couple hollow ones into play, maybe a Vengevine. Okay, there's another land, that's great. I believe I am going to get a Taiga and a Badlands with this, pretty much no matter what. I am just going to fetch both out now. Let's cast a Faithless Looting. Ooh. Let's discard a Vengevine and a Blazing Root Walla. Cast. Now, I'm going to cast this Putrid Imp. If it resolves, I'm going to go fucking wild. Yes, I will use Vengevine's ability. Please resolve, please resolve. Damn it. I was going to get to make 3 hollow ones. I've discarded 2 cards this turn with Faithless Looting, so these hollow ones still cost 1 mana. Which is unfortunate, and now we have 3 of them. It's okay. Like, there's a flashback Faithless Looting later, and I do still have another Putrid Imp. Oh, Fatal Push is good. So this is probably a Grixis Delver deck then. Oh shit, don't take my Badlands. Fuck! Well, everything that could go wrong went wrong in that last turn cycle. Okay. LED does not do anything for me here. Ugh. Alright. I will Lightning Bolt you with my Lizard. My situation is pretty bad. Like, with the right draws, everything is fine. But I really just don't have the ability to do anything right now. Just kind of due to how my cards lined up with my opponent's cards. That doesn't really help me. Is this just another attack for 3 turn? I think this is just another attack for 3 turn, unfortunately. Now, here's the thing. Like, my situation is bad, and I can't do anything right now. But I am one good draw away from almost instantly killing my opponent. Alright, come at me, Delver. I need to rehydrate. I'm at 9. Okay. I don't really care about Ragavan. I have a bunch of blockers for that. Oh my god, this Burning Inquiry is fucking insane. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to play out the Lion's Eye Diamond ahead of time, because I just want to keep hollow ones in hand. I, in fact, think I am not going to play out Lion's Eye Diamond ahead of time. Which is weird. Alright, please don't counterspell me. God damn it. Note, Lion's Eye Diamond playing for days there doesn't do what I want it to do. That's my turn. Blazing Root Walla needs to be held back to trade with Ragavan, unfortunately. I swear if you have another fucking Fatal Push, oh my god. How was my opponent's hand that perfect? Like, oh my god. I can play LED. Double Blazing Root Walla. Well, okay. Let's just make them reveal the final days that's in their hand, shall we? Okay. They did not have it for comic effect. God, this feels so fucking bad. Alright, cast Lizard 1. And then cast Lizard 2. That returns Vengevine. Now, let's see if I can Faithless Looting and get something else out of this. I can. A Blazing Root Walla. I will cast. And I will crash in for half of your life total. I will die to a Lightning Bolt this turn. We'll see if my opponent finds it. If they don't find it, they still might win anyway. I have to draw a land to win, because they can hold back Ragavan, block Vengevine, and only take 3 damage. Oh. Okay. You just have the Lightning Bolt then? I suppose they could also have yet another Fatal Push. Oh, I see. That works too. Why can't I just draw the land? Or I guess the land doesn't. No, the land would do it exactly. God damn it. That's really frustrating. Alright. So I die. There was just absolutely no missed draw steps, no suboptimal anything. Alright, I believe we get 6 removal spells for this matchup. Probably go Gambles out. I don't know that I really need the anger here. That can probably go. Then I need to cut 2 more. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to cut at this point. I'm looking at Burning Inquiry and Hollow One, I think. I could also cut Ox. I like Hollow One because it's immune to Lightning Bolt, but it is the thing that requires the most hoops, and the more hoops you jump through, the more vulnerable something is to daze. So I think I'm just going to trim like 1 Burning Inquiry, 1 Hollow One, and call that good. I would like to play first. This hand does nothing, right? Like, I can make 2 lizards. I can't flash this back. There's not enough cards in graveyard. So that's a mulligan. This is the Force of Will check hand. I'm going to keep it. Pitch the Firestorm. The good thing is that the Lion's Eye Diamond is a thing that should be Force of Willed, so my opponent really needs multiple Force effects for this to be good. Oh, and they just pitched a Force. Alright. I will do the thing. Cast Anji's Ravager. Alright. They surgically extract the Vengevine, which is quite strong. I will still have an Anji's Ravager in play. They will, of course, have Red Land plus Lightning Bolt at the ready, though, so we don't need to worry about that. Or Fatal Push Fetch Land, you know. So this was slightly less of a good turn 1 than I expected, because my opponent had 3 different pieces of free interaction. Alright. What do you want me to do here? What do you want me to do? That was Force, Surgical, Red Land, Lightning Bolt as the series of hits there. I believe after a mulligan, too? Sure, I will absolutely trade. Will you have another Ragavan? Most certainly. Yep. Alright. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Requires 8 in graveyard. Alright, I'm chilling. Ragavan gets to hit me. Alright. What you got, monkey? Sure. Moderately annoying, because like that's just another blocker, and every other turn it represents damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the point where I could go for it. Probably just have to. I hate that I'm not using this Bone Shards to destroy the Ragavan, but I don't know that I can gamble on getting to draw a land. Alright. Okay, resolved. Back for red. Can't cast that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Done. Dumped to Ancestral. Okay, successfully Ancestraled. I didn't really get anything impressive out of it, though, unfortunately. I will go ahead and just cast this as something else that can trade with the Ragavan. That was not great. Okay. That is going to be very difficult to beat. The blockers here are rough. I don't think I'm attacking. I think I'm waiting until I can do something with Firestorm and hopefully clean up the board a bit. I also just don't think I can attack with one of these and then like have my opponent Lightning Bolt or Fatal Push and then be able to attack in with the Ragavan. Yeah. Goodbye, Lizard. Now this has Menace, which is a nuisance. Means that I can't actually block that. I don't think this Hollow One ever gets to come into play in this match. I think I just need to attempt to kill this Sedgemoor Witch, or my opponent has more time. I guess in Ragavan. 1. Discard 2 cards. Yeah, I will absolutely pay the 3 life. And oh, it worked. Now this probably means that I can attack in. Yep, so there's the chump block, which very notably puts my opponent to 16, meaning this is no longer a 3-turn clock unchecked. Alright, more Ragavan. It's annoying again because the treasure tokens represent... God damn it. The treasure tokens represent the ability to pump this, although obviously we saw that something worse than that just happened. I think I'm holding this Faithless Looting. I think I have to try to do something more impressive with it. Actually, maybe that's not true. So if I hit a Madness creature that's free, I can block both the Ragavan and the Anji's Ravager. Nope. I think I have to hold back, trade for the Anji's Ravager. This game is over. Alright, I am conceding there. That's like my opponent dashing Ragavan and drawing 3 cards. I have nothing left. It's not happening. Alright, I'll be keeping this opening hand. It's not the best. It has double Burning Inquiry, and like some things can go very right or very wrong with how things play out from here. Ooh. Gamble is interesting. Gamble can get LED and produce Ravager and Root Walla on 1. I don't think that's better than casting a Burning Inquiry, though. Let's start here. Get my opponent's Reanimator. Alright, a Once Upon a Time. Okay, we are playing a Mirror, which is nerve-wracking. Alright. You don't get to do that. My opponent has a Vengevine in the graveyard now. I don't get to do this. I do get to do this. Cast. Now, I will play an LED. And I think I'm just cracking it and going for the Anji's Ravager on turn 1 now. Triple red. Lizard, and Ravager. I am quite happy with this turn 1, although, like, my opponent starts turn 1 with a Vengevine in the graveyard. So that's just something to keep in mind. For a second there, I thought they were gonna, like, Entomb or something. Alright. You get a good turn, too. Or I should say, you get a good turn as well. Oh, double Vengevine. Okay, so now we'll see, like, how offensively versus defensively they decide to play. They might be the beatdown, but they... Oh, God, anger as well? Holy fuck. Oh, God. Oh. Just ow. Just ow. Alright, they're leaving back one wizard. Yeah, just ow. I think I take this block. Oh, you discarded a card, so you have flying. Okay. Yeah, no blocks then. No blocks. We'll see if I can do something degenerate. Well, I do this. What is the world in which I win this? It is probably the world in which I somehow return a bunch of Vengevines to play. I'm going to ship everything in. I don't think I'm winning this unless I have the absolute nuts here. Like, if I leave back a couple of these lizards to do blocks on these, like, there's still a lot of potential damage coming in. I believe I will be sideboarding out Burning Inquiry here. That is a Vengevine. That doesn't really do me any good. The anger doesn't really do me any good. I'm going to go ahead and concede there. So, Firestorm, Bone Shards, and Fairy are all things that I can consider. I think I'm going to start with the main deck and figure out what I want to trim, and then go from there. So, I don't want to be playing Burning Inquiry in this mirror. Well, a pseudo mirror, really. We're different builds. But I don't think I want this. Yeah, opponent said, not gonna lie, not really sure how to sideboard for the mirror match. Just kind of winging it. Yeah, it's awkward. So, like, I think I want to be playing Firestorm 100% of the time to deal with opposing small lizards, so that, like, mine can get through. And then, like, Bone Shards versus Fairy is kind of awkward. I want some number of this. Like, the fairies can still be used to work towards hollow ones when they're not good. But, like, so much of the time, this stuff doesn't actually stop game plan number 1. It's just good against Vengevines. And sometimes against, like, an Anger or an Ox or something. I think I'm going to junk Gambles and Angers. No, when I'm on the play, I'm going to keep this stuff. And when I'm on the draw, I'm going to board more of this stuff and be more reactive. Okay. How do I feel about turn 1 Amji's Ravager go? Is that hand good enough? Do not believe that hand is good enough. Ooh. This is turn 1, land pass. Turn 2, Firestorm, whatever my opponent did. Discard 2 Vengevines. Discard 2 Vengevines, and then hopefully play another critter. This hand is potentially devastating. I'm going to keep this and discard this Bone Shards. Or not discard, get rid of this Bone Shards. Land go. And I'm just going to hope this one lines up well against what my opponent is doing. My opponent kept, like, a fairy opener. My hand sucks. But I think this hand is scary enough under a lot of circumstances that I just want to keep it. Alright. How bad is it? Discarding double anger. Oh. Ace Dianji's Ravager. That's real good. My opponent's build has more angers than I do. If they have 2 in the opening hand like this, they're probably a 3 anger build. Alright. That's pretty good. Alright. You get to Ancestral. I'll take a bunch of damage. We'll go to my turn. My turn's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch a Taiga here. That is exactly the draw I needed, by the way. I'm going to Firestorm with 1, 2, 3 targets. Okay. I'll pay a red. I will discard 1, 2, 3 cards. So this is going to board wipe my opponent and give me 4 creatures in play. What a swing. Oh, baby. Oh, and they didn't have a fairy. Fantastic. What a reversal of fortune. And my opponent still does have 3 cards left. And a relatively stocked graveyard, so things can happen. What do you have for me, opponent? Okay. Straight up, it's just attacking. Yeah, okay. That's closer to what I thought. Okay, on the draw, I should consider being more reactive. I think I am going to junk the Gambles and the Anger or some fairies, and I almost want some Bone Shards. I think some Kitchen Imps are probably expendable for Bone Shards. This is starting to reach the point where, oh shit, no, I don't want to play 61. Shit. Alright, we're playing 61. This is starting to reach the point where we may be in the realm of overside boarding. Okay, how good is this hand? I can Firestorm. I go Badlands, LED, Firestorm for X equals 3, crack LED, get Kitchen Imp into play, attacking on turn 1, and a Basking Root Walla, and invalidate whatever my opponent did. This is probably fine. I say probably because, like, this deck's scary. I'm sure you figured that out by now, either just from this video or from other videos. Alright. Captain. Damage report. Yep, this is fine so far. This means I'm not seeing Vengevine this turn. Okay. Does a Faithless Looting change anything about how I want to play this? I can sandbag this Firestorm further. I'm not sure that that's correct. Yeah, the LED makes things weird here. My opponent can have more creatures that they can Madness in at instant speed. I think I am going to choose to shoot my opponent as well. I'm thinking about discarding an extra card and hurting myself. Deal 1 more damage to my opponent. This is 3 damage to my opponent, putting my opponent to 16. That's a 4-turn clock from the Imps. 1 more damage doesn't change that. 3 targets is fine then. Alright, discard 1, 2, 3. Done. I'll now crack this for black. Fast. And get my lizard. Alright. Send in the Imps. Alright, I have successfully gotten 4 damage. We will see if this Firestorm Gambit is enough to win the game. It depends on what my opponent's turn looks like. Oh my god, they kept in fucking Burning Inquiry? Wow. This is very surprising to me. I believe that's my Anji's Ravager trigger. Yeah, I don't know. Burning Inquiry seems scary. Like, because I obviously just got value off of their card, and in the previous game, like, it was the same thing. Okay. Their hand's not great. They get a Faithless Looting to try to improve it, but I have more power. Yeah, and they didn't have the mana for that Anji's Ravager afterwards. Why are they fetching a mountain? Okay. Well, send them. I believe I am, Someone says, I think you got this one. Yeah. I boarded out Burning Inquiry. FYI. Seems scary in the mirror. Alright. Yeah, okay, my opponent brought in Leyline. Yeah, which makes sense. Alright, so I've got nothing I can play here, but I've got, like, 4 power in the air. So I think I've got it over 2 turns. Top decks can happen, but yeah, like, this Burning Inquiry is going to happen, and I'm going to get critters. Alright, we trade critters, and yeah, then my opponent go ahead and concedes there. GG's. Alright, final round, we're playing against a Yorion deck, which likely means Death and Taxes. This hand is unimpressive, it doesn't do anything in its current state. I think I'm just going to go ahead and mulligan this one. This second hand is a little questionable. It just goes land go, And then if I can draw a land off Faithless Looting, I'll be able to double Hollow One on turn 2, which is actually pretty good. I think this is going to be a keep, and I'll pitch the Anji's Ravager from this hand. But this is going to be one of those cases where I just go land go, despite having options to cast spells, which is something to keep in mind if you are playing Madness. Ooh. Is this a D&T Flex slot Ancient Tomb? Nope. Okay, we're playing against something spicy. Maybe a white prison deck of some nature. In which case, I get super fucking punished for not playing a Faithless Looting on 1. But that was very unexpected after seeing Yorion. Okay. Oh, you're still going. Okay. Oh. All right. So this is quite the brew that we're facing down. All right. This is the point where I have to make a decision. Am I just conceding this game on the spot, or do I want to try to beat this Chalice on 1? It becomes very difficult for me to ever cast a Hollow One. I have to, in all likelihood, get to 5 lands. I have... Sorry if you can hear that. There is a staircase right over here, and someone is, like, thumping a dead body down the stairs, I'm guessing. Alright. So, I have some creatures that I can play, but 23 cards in my deck have been invalidated. I think I want to concede here. Like, these Hollow Ones are dead. I get 1 redraw. My opponent... I'm gonna concede here and not give the information for what deck I'm on. I don't want my opponent to sideboard against me. I'm going to be boarding in, I think, Ancient Grudges and Meltdown, so that I have some options against my opponent's artifact prison pieces. I don't know that I actually want any of the Bone Shards Firestorm type stuff. I think I'm going to trim a few 1-drops for Chalice of the Void-based reasons to bring in these 3 cards. And then I have to think about whether or not I want to, like, be able to Bone Shards or Firestorm away some early plays that my opponent might have, like Emery. I'm not sure. Like, with the Gamble's gone, it's relatively low cost to board out the Anger. But 1 Anger might be better than 1 Firestorm or Bone Shards, and then I'm not sure that I actually want to pull anything else out from the deck. I literally wrote an article between this round and the last round on Madness for theepicstorm.com. Bryant bullied me into it over lunch. And one of the things I talk about in there is how you often sideboard with a light touch, because every card that you take out of your deck is going to make you less good at just getting your opponent dead. And I think I'm going to follow my own advice here and only sideboard 3 cards. What the fuck are you doing? Okay. This is a hand that doesn't do anything. So, like, notice how we have a sideboard card here that is not contributing to my opponent dying, whereas this would normally be probably a gamble. Yeah, that would be a gamble, in which case this hand is quite good, because it just gets turn 1 Anji's Ravager and double Basking Root Walla. I'm going to mulligan. I'm also going to go insane. They must be, like, moving a washer or dryer or something. I will be keeping this opening hand. This is a very good 6. I think I will cast the Burning Inquiry on 1 and ship back my Faithless Looting here. I think I am going to get a Taiga here, although I don't think it matters too much which land I get. And let's Burning Inquiry. Alright, I actually kept my Hollow One in my hand. That's good. Took my opponent's Ancient Tomb, which is also good. And now I get a Hollow One for free. Alright, pretty happy with that turn 1. So this is probably just a double pump Lizard hand, and just attack for 10, followed by attack for 10. Okay, they have a second Ancient Tomb. Okay, what do you got? Sai. Sai is annoying. Sai has 4 toughness, which is a magic number here. And it also just means my Blazing Root Wallas kind of suck now. Am I good with just attacking for 7 this turn? Yeah, I think so. I think I'm just going to give up one of these Blazing Root Wallas. and just take 3 damage off the other. I am beyond distracted right now. My audio is showing that most of this should be filtered out, but most of it and all of it are different things. Alright, so there's 7 damage. Opponent's at 11. I'll play a Putrid Imp. Putrid Imp gets me another body immediately, which is not bad. This will also potentially be able to fly, but, you know, Thopters also fly. Okay. Urza Saga is potentially scary. That Shadow Spear is sure fucking annoying. That gives my opponent life gain to offset what I'm doing. Oh, they're not just equipping the Shadow Spear immediately. I'll take a 1-drop here then. Alright, so now the Chalice is going to resolve. A lot of my top decks become worse. Vengevine is not the worst. Life's bad. Like, this construct with lifelink is pretty terrifying. I might just need to send in with everything, trade off some bodies, and hope for the best. I don't think I'm supposed to discard the Vengevine and put it into graveyard. I think it's going to be hard to return it, or at least return it effectively. I think I'd rather be able to hardcast it later. I'm just going to send these all in. Every Thopter that I take out is a card that is not growing that Urza Saga construct token. Okay, so I am not being given the chance to Fire Breathe for any additional damage. I'm just getting in the 4. How does state-based effects work with this Putrid Imp? All the damage is checked simultaneously, I believe. I think my Putrid Imp still dies here, even if I fetch. I'm going to fetch in case I'm wrong, though. Yeah, all the damage is dealt simultaneously. Alright. The opponent's at 5 life. There's some worlds where I top deck a land and just get there. We'll see. If my opponent has more mana, especially mana that does not hurt them, I am in trouble. Yeah. This is 2 to equip, so it is a choice of like a construct or a Shadow Spear equip. Alright. There is the Vengevine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're essentially going to trade boards here. Send them. Alright. So now both of these have to be blocked or you die. I think my opponent is killing the wrong one. I think they are supposed to kill the hollow one because the Vengevine can theoretically come back and the hollow one can't. They could have their own reasons though. Alright, they're down to 1. Now they can just get like a Mox Opal here and then equip Shadow Sphere this turn and then life's real bad for me. Yeah, what? Oh, why? Oh, okay, you have a land. Sure, that's fine then. Okay, I win. So, I will Ancient Grudge the construct. Now I'll attack in. Now my opponent will attempt to make an idiot. And I will Ancient Grudge it. Whew, tight margins on that one. I did not have anything to spare there. Okay, so now I know Urza Saga is in this deck as well. I might need Bone Shards to help deal with those. The issue here is that Bone Shards is something that folds Chalice of the Void, which is already something that I'm worried about in the matchup. So, am I supposed to sideboard against Urza Saga when it's slow? And when it's also just eaten by Chalice, and I can't do much about Chalice when I'm on the draw. Like, I'll have 3 cards that answer it. I think I'm not going to board in Bone Shards. I think I'm going to have to call this good. This hand is potentially very, very, very good if my opponent does not have Chalice on turn 1. I'm going to be keeping this hand. The hand becomes a little embarrassing if my opponent does have the Chalice. We'll see how deep they mulligan in their Yorion deck. Okay. Am I getting Chaliced on turn 1? Oh, I'm getting Canonist on turn 1. Can't cast non-artifact spells, huh? I don't think that'll be a problem. Okay, I think that I don't want to cast a Lion's Eye Diamond prior to Burning Inquiry. I want my Hollow one to resolve. Yeah. I think this is a Badlands. Let's cast this Burning Inquiry. I have, of course, discarded my hollow one. God damn it, hollow one. Yep. Probably just lost that one to discarding my my hollow one, but hopefully I just took out my opponent's lands and they don't do anything either. I think on the off chance that a Chalice on 0 is played, I'm going to play out these Lion's Eye Diamonds. I still have Ox as a very reasonable play. Oh yeah, is that it? Is that all you're doing? Yep. I won a game on Burning Inquiry there. Okay. That probably means I don't want to cast another Burning Inquiry. I'm just going to cast an Ox. Burning Inquiry can do some cool things, but I don't want to give my opponents lands when I know they're stuck. I'm essentially going to loot 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a 9th. I'm not going to want more land, I don't think. I'm just going to pull a Taiga out of the deck here. Let's go red, red, red. I'm not actually going to Madness that. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. I'll draw 3 cards. Oh, nice. This is an artifact. And now I don't get a second one here, but that's fine. I'll have about a 2-turn clock. Okay, my opponent found another land. We'll see if they can play Magic. Sure. Chalice on 1 is a touch late to the party to matter. It's still fine, but like I have 9 power in play. I'm gonna send these on in. Opponent goes to 11. I think they need like an Urza Saga caliber card here. Walking Ballista is not doing much here. It helps buy some time, but not really what my opponent is looking for. Sure. Okay. I think I'm fine just discarding my hand and attacking in with the Kitchen Imp as well. Like, these 3 cards do nothing right now. Crack for black. Pass the Imp. Don't do the other things. Send them on in. Now, this does require a block. We'll see a block on the Ox, and then I'll get pinged for 1. Alright, as expected. Opponent needs a lot here. They need, like, Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah. I mean, that's just a Yorion deck losing to itself, right? So my opponent mulled to 5, like, basically looking for a Chalice of the Void, I presume. Didn't find it, like, gave up, kept a kind of suboptimal hand, which got worse via Burning Inquiry, and then like didn't really do anything for the rest of the game. And this is kind of why I like don't advocate for playing companions. Overall thoughts on the deck list, pretty good. Like I'm always impressed by these Madvine decks, whatever you want to call them. Madness, Madvine 8, Walla. I don't care what you call it. It's good. Kitchen Imp brings something different to the table. I'm not sure how I feel about it as a whole. I do not dislike it, and I want to start there. I think the card requires more testing for me to make an opinion on. Like, this is something that trades with a Delver. This is another thing that triggers a Vengevine. But it's also something that has, like, a mana cost, and it's something that sometimes makes you want to crack your LEDs for black, which is not normally a color that you want to be cracking LEDs for. So sometimes it means that, like, you can't do 2 things off an LED. Whereas like when you crack for red, you can cast an Andi's Ravager and then also pump something like a Blazing Root Walla. So it's not 100% smooth, but the effect is powerful. The specifics of the build seems fine. Sideboard was good. Flaring Pain didn't come up and do, you know, an absolute savage blowout or anything, but I liked the cards that I had access to, and I hope you enjoyed this league. If you did, throw me a like or maybe a subscription if you're new to the channel. Those sorts of things support me for free. And if you want to try this one out or get your own deck on the channel, that information is available in the video description. Have a great rest of the day. Oh, and I mentioned it in passing, but I did write an article for theepicstorm.com on the Madness versus TES matchup. That's probably available now by the time this video releases. All right, have a great rest of the day.